Right, time for a video. I'm going to show you today how I installed a dash cam into my mum's MG4. This is an MG4 2022 model. It's a right-hand drive, so it's UK spec. And we installed this Kenwood dash cam. It is the DRV-A310R11CA. It's a front and rear-facing 1080p dash cam. Kenwood sell a number of them in this particular range that ranges from 1080p up to 4K. We decided that for our requirements, 1080p was sufficient. And our main focus actually for choosing which camera was that we wanted it to both be forward-facing and rear-facing, so that if an incident happened from behind, we'd catch that. But we also, and probably more importantly, wanted to ensure that that my mum didn't need to remember to turn anything on or plug anything in or any of that kind of stuff. The camera just needed to be able to start and run immediately without any intervention each time she gets in to use the car, so that she can drive the car as she always has, but if something were to happen, we know that we've got a recording of the incident or the accident or whatever, so that we can use that video as we need to. So the advantage of this bundle is that in addition to the two cameras, it also comes with a hardwire kit, so that you can wire the cameras directly into the fuse board within the car, so that the camera turns on and off with the ignition of the car, meaning that the cables are not obvious, they're almost completely hidden, and you don't have to remember to turn the camera on when you start to use it. So that was the main aim. I actually installed it a while ago, so I'm going to now rewind, show you the video of when I installed it, and we'll come back and do a little summary at the end. If you like these videos, please do like and subscribe. It means a huge amount to have a subscriber for a small channel like mine. So if you like it, please do like and subscribe. And if you have any questions, please do put them in the comments below, and I'll do my best to get back to you. Let me just quickly show you the tools I used actually, just before we get on. All right, this is in addition to screwdrivers and all that kind of stuff, these were the tools I used most actually during, while installing this camera. And these are car trim tools, which I bought from Halfords, I think. They're really useful. They're plastic tools that are lots of different shapes, designed to help you to get the trim out of cars without permanently damaging anything. So like these, see these sort of U pieces, they're designed to get behind clips, and they're all different strengths and different shapes to help you to get into different areas of the car. So I definitely recommend something like this if you're going to take on a job like this. It's the kind of thing that you buy once and then you'll have it forever, and you'll end up using it for multiple projects. So definitely useful. Another tool you'll see me use throughout this video are these super rods. They come out of a big pack. I'll include a link in the description below. But the two I used were this short, very flexible one, and then this much longer one here. And they're really useful. They're specifically designed for running cables inside houses, but it allows me to push these rods behind the trim, attach the cable to it, and then pull that cable through without having to remove all of the trim. So yeah, thoroughly recommend these. They're the kind of thing, again, like the trim removal tools that you buy, and then you'll find you use them, that they'll last forever, and then you use them for many jobs around the house. So yeah, couldn't have done it without these. Okay, so trying to work out where this should go, where the front camera should go. So it either goes here, as close to that unit as possible, or to that central compartment, which I think has got like the rain sensors and the light sensors and all those sorts of things in the front. So it either goes there, and then I try to route the cables up and around. Maybe that's best. Or it goes up here in front of the passenger. But the problem with that is it's not in the center, so everything will be a bit distorted, or at least not sort of a true, I don't know, it might affect the camera or might affect the video a little bit. Plus also the windscreen wiper only runs to here. You know, it's only cleaning the windscreen up to here. So this will be behind a piece of the windscreen that is not cleaned by the windscreen wiper, which could mean, especially when it's raining, that the video would be less useful. So I think I have to put it here. I have to. And just put it as close as I possibly can. Yeah, okay, I think I have to, because otherwise, whenever it's raining, the video is going to be not very useful. Let me just jump in from the driver's side. So if that was there, okay, no, that's, I think that's okay. I think that's okay. So, yeah, decision made. Right, I'm going to try and plug it in. I'm going to try and attach it in the middle. Yeah, done. Okay, so I've stuck some masking tape up here just to mark the center of this unit. Right, and now I'm going to do this. So I know where the center is. Okay, so now let's plug this in. Okay. I thought I'd just quickly record something from the sort of driver's position. So I'm here. This would be my driving position. This is actually my mum's car, so she sits just a little bit. She's shorter than I am, so she'd sit perhaps a little bit lower than me. But you can see that the camera, which is just here, is hardly visible as the wing mirror, the rear view mirror, the central mirror, hides the camera completely, or pretty much. So yeah, it doesn't obscure the driver's view at all, doesn't distract the driver's view at all, which is obviously the main thing. Okay, so the first job for the rear camera, I think I'm going to put it here, looking out through the back. So the cable's going to go up into this hole here, which this little cover was on that. So I'll just drill a nice neat hole in the center of that. And then hopefully get it across to here, through this, and then into the back, into the cabin of the car, and then hopefully I can run it down the side. So firstly, I'm just going to try and get it to here. And yeah, just take it step by step. Okay, first bit is done. The cable is now from here through to here. So now I need to get it into this tubing that links it into the main car. The one little tip, which I fell into this trap, is you should drill the hole and feed the cable through this grommet before you run the cable through here, because of course you can't put the grommet on afterwards, which I did not do. So I had to pull it all out and put it all back again. So yeah, don't make the mistake I made. Yeah. Anyway, right, now onto this bit. So hopefully I'm going to get it through here. I think this might be quite difficult. Yeah. All right, let's see. Okay, I didn't manage to get any video of this because it was quite hard work, but I managed to get my super rod, that little super rod, through the rubber tube. It's quite hard because the tube is very tight. There's already a fairly large cable in there, and because the tube is ribbed, the super rod or anything you try to push through there keeps getting stuck against the tube. I think it was easier to push the rod through first because it's more rigid. And then once that was through, I attached the cable to the rod and then pulled the rod through, putting the cable through with it. So yeah, just a good example of how these rods are incredibly useful. Success. So camera now goes from here. Obviously I still need to attach it to the rear view mirror, to the back window, in through this grommet, which I've got the hole for, along here, behind these two grommets, to this. It goes through here, and the cable now comes out here. So now I've got to get from here over there somewhere. So yeah, let's see which panels come off. I'm kind of hoping that I might be able to push one of these rods down there and then get lucky. But let's see. Okay, so a little tip. This panel here, I've got one of these prying tools, and it just pops out
at least slightly, very, very easily. Just put a prying tool in here at the top and pull it out, and it just pops out. I'm trying to avoid removing this weather stripping because there's a whole lot of glue behind here that I don't want to get everywhere, and also I don't want to run the risk that I'm affecting the water seal, the weather seal between the boot and the outside. So I'm trying to do this without removing any weather sealing. But once you've got this little panel off, I've used one of these short cable rods, and I pushed it through here, and then hopefully you can see, it's pretty dark, but anyway, you can fish it out of here. So now I should be able to attach this cable that's coming down through this sleeving onto this mini rod, pull it down, and then it's on the inside of the car. And then I can just tuck it in all the way down. So yeah, let's see if that works. Okay, so I'm in the back seat and I've just pushed my rod through here. So this is the back door, and then of course I can go up here. And if I come around to the side, it's just popped out here. So I think that's pretty cool. Do you know, the thing I've got to work out now is the cable, this cable that attaches directly to the camera doesn't plug in directly into the front camera. Instead, it has to be joined to this cable. It's got a multi-pin round connector there. Hopefully that's, is that focusing? Yeah, it's got like a multi-pin round connector on the end of here, and then a USB-C on the other end. But there's tons of slack. So where am I going to put all this slack? And maybe back here somewhere is a good place. So perhaps I should be running this from the front back. And then join them in here and put a whole lot of slack in there. Okay, so the cable for the rear camera, which is this one, comes out of here. At the moment, I've just got it going around this unit. I think I'm gonna see if I can pop this off, because it'd be nice if it were able to go behind here. But then it goes up. Hang on, let me swivel the camera around. Then it goes, oh come on, go up. There we go. It goes in here and then up underneath the headlining here, and then around through here, and then all the way along, and then past here. Just pull this, can actually pull off just a little bit, and then you can get it through, and then into the back. And let me show you the back. Ooh. Right, and now it's here. So this is the cable rod that goes through into the boot. So I can pull the cable through, and then it'll be back there. The problem is I've got tons of slack. I've got all of this. So I now need to work out where to put it. I'm thinking behind here might be a good idea. Either that, or back there somewhere behind in the boot. Yeah, let me have a look. Okay, let me try and show you where I've hidden the extra cable. So if we come and get into the back of the car, spin around. Okay, so it's looking at the back door. The cable runs along here, behind here, and then it gets to this bit behind the rear door, and there's quite a lot of room up here, just above the sort of plastic trim in the headlining behind this rear door, which I bundled up all the cables and I pushed it into there, and it was a little awkward to get this back in. It's interesting actually. This headlining clips into the plastic here, but to get it in, you've sort of got to push the headlining up so that you can push this back in, so that the headlining can sort of fall down into the groove. And once you've done that, it's then nicely hidden. So essentially, I've got a cable coming through from the front, running back here, and then a whole load of a bundle of cable here. Maybe half of the cable length is bundled behind here, and then it carries on and goes up into the door, you know, into the boot lid, and then across to the rear camera, which you can see just there. Okay, so that's not done, but stage one is done, in that the camera's installed. It's and the rear camera is wired into the front camera, with the cable going up and around here, and then it's then completely hidden back to the boot, which is excellent. The bit that's just temporary is the power cable. Is currently, I've just got this coming up through the headlining, and then it's coming down here and around the corner, and then it plugs into the cigarette lighter. So it's working, but more still to do. Okay, it's now a few weeks later, and I'm going to install this Hardwire kit for the camera that I put in a little while ago. And I just thought, yeah, so the idea here is that so the camera, just to recap, the camera is behind the wing mirror here. At the moment it's plugged into the cigarette lighter. I'll plug in this cable for the Hardwire kit, route it up and underneath the headliner here, down the A pillar, and then underneath the dash down here, which is where the fuse box is. So first job is to route it, and then we'll work out the Hardwire, which fuse to spur off in the fuse box afterwards. So yeah, let's get on with it. Okay, so the cable is routed up and around this unit that's behind the mirror. I'd like to ideally try and get this off so I can route it behind it, but at the moment it just goes around it. And then it's underneath the headlining all the way along to here. Almost. Hang on. Oh, now it is. Now it's underneath the headlining all the way along to here. And then I've pulled off the door trim, the front door trim. I was trying to avoid pulling the door trim off, but I saw someone had done this, and while there's a lot of glue on the door trim while there's a lot of glue on the weather seal for the boot, there isn't any glue, or at least doesn't appear to be any glue used on the door weather seals. So I've just pulled this off, which then gives, you'll see, that gives quite a lot of room behind here, which then means I can route the cable down here and then all the way down, and then behind this, and then the fuse box is down there. So I think I'm almost at the fuse box, which is excellent. Need to get this piece of plastic off, so that's probably the next job, and then it's into the fuse box. Okay, so I popped this panel off. Just have to get one of these units behind it, and then just one of these tools behind it, and then just be very careful. Now there's a couple of screws, 1, 2, and I think there's a few underneath, which I'm hoping will then mean that this panel comes off, and then I'll have access to the fuse box, which you may just be able to see back there. I've just routed the cable down behind here, so it pops out here. I'm going to just put it behind this bar, and then I'll cable tie all the excess up, and then it should just be a case of choosing the right fuse and getting it all connected. So hopefully I'm on the home straight now. Okay, so the cable comes down the A pillar, and then I've just tucked it in and around underneath here, and then cable tied it onto the ducting, and now it pops out just through. Well, I've just brought it through after removing this piece of trim. I can't get this trim completely off. I probably could if I'm just a little bit worried about breaking clips, so I'm not pulling that side too much, but I've got enough space now to see the fuse box. And yeah, there's the fuse box. So what I need to do now is I need to find a permanent 12 volts and so as in it provides 12 volts no matter whether the car is on or off, and a switch 12 volt, i.e. one that's only powered on when the car is on. I've done a bit of research, and it appears that these two up here, these two larger fuses on the top left, are switched. Yeah, they're the switched ones. So they only come on when the car is on, whereas all of these others on the right-hand side, both the micro and both the very small ones and the slightly larger ones, they're all permanently live. Now, what I found is, my original plan was to take one of these fuses out, put a fuse breaker connector in, which looks a little bit like this, which then allows you to replace the original fuse and have a breakout into a new fuse that goes down, that then controls this cable. But what I found is that the empty fuse slots are all connected as well. So instead of playing with one of the original fuses, I'm just going to use an empty slot. So I'm going to plug the permanent probably into this one just below the 20, and then I'm going to plug the switched one into this one next to the 5, and that way I'm not going to interfere with anything that's already there, which I think is probably the most sensible idea. And then I'm going to use this bolt here as my ground. Apparently this one here isn't grounded, but this one here is grounded, so I'll use that for the ground, and then I should be done. Now, one thing, my hardwire kit didn't come with the right fuse spur or breakout cable for these fuses up here. So these ones here are called micro triples. They look like this. So they've got 3 prongs rather than just 2. So I had to buy this from Amazon, which actually is why this piece of the recording is now a week after the past one. So what I'm going to do, just to make sure this really does work, is I'm going to plug this into here, and then I'm just going to make sure that I get 12 volts between this and the grounded bolt, and then if it does, I'm good to go. So let's do that now. Okay, so I finally got the fuse spur, or the breakout, sorry, into the right fuse. The spur itself was slightly too, as in the plastic molding around the pins was slightly too big to actually fit in. I'll try and put a picture up just to explain what I mean by that right now. But basically, I had to shave away a portion of the molding around the pins, and then it finally got in. So anyway, it's in there now. It's into what I believe is the switched live. So I'm going to test that now. I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to do that not entirely sure how I'm going to do that while also holding on to the camera, but let's try. So, okay, so I'm going to now, so the car is not on, and I'm going to try, so I'm just going to connect this up. We should see 0 on this meter once it's connected. So let's put that into there. That was the ground. 0. Excellent. Okay, so now if I actually turn the car on, and to do that, all I need to do is sit on the seats. So let's do that. Okay, the car's come on. Now let's try that again. Yeah, excellent. So that fuse is definitely switched. Okay, so now all I need to do, oops, and as I knock everything over, now all I need to do is connect the wire into that spur, and then we're on the home straight. Okay, hopefully you can see that, but the red wire is plugged into the fuse on the top left. The yellow, which the red is, sorry, the switched live. The yellow, which is the permanent live, is plugged into that fuse in the center. Make sure that's definitely plugged in okay, and then the earth, the ground, is on that bolt down in the bottom right. So just need to tidy up the cabling, cable tie it all in so that it stays put, and then we're ready to give it a test. Okay, there it is, all done. So you can see the camera just here on the front window, or on the front windscreen, and then if we go around to the back, it's actually impossible to see us on the back because the rear window is so dark, but it's back there. So let me go and jump into the passenger seat and I can show you. Okay, So here, there's the camera. It's just behind the rear view mirror, as I've shown you. It's off at the moment, but it's there. And the cables are routed up around this. I did consider putting it behind this unit, but I was a little bit worried I'd break some of the clips. So so we decided it was best just to have the cables running up around the side. And then the cables then go, one cable goes off to the left, which then goes all the way to the back of the car, sorry, for the rear camera. And the other cable goes off to the right and heads down to the fuse board. And then if I just turn around, you can see back there on the rear window, you can see the other camera. I'm really impressed with the way that this has turned out. It wasn't that difficult to install. You have to take it slowly and it takes some time, and you've got to be particularly careful with the fuses because you don't want to blow a fuse or tap into some critical part of the, use a fuse that's part of a critical system within the car. But I think with the MG4, it's great that the free slots are still powered. I think in a number of other cars, that's not always the case. So it meant that we could be very safe and pick a slot that wasn't used, and therefore know that we're not impacting another, a fuse for a different system. So yeah, really like that. What else? I guess probably the only negative I would have, and it's not really about this camera, but perhaps this design of camera, is that it does stick out a bit. So, let me try and show you what I mean by that. Okay, so this is what I mean. It does stick out a bit, and because it's hanging down directly from the window, it means there's quite a lot of, there's a lot of space in front, which means that the camera kind of comes back towards the cabin quite a long way. So I think that's kind of one of the limitations, I guess, of this type of camera, and perhaps a barrel type camera, and I'll put up a screenshot of the type of camera I mean now, but perhaps a barrel type camera that attaches directly to the window or to the windscreen might be a better solution if you're looking for something that is very, very, hidden and unobtrusive. But for our use case, this is absolutely fine. But yeah, I think if I was probably buying again, I would look perhaps at buying a barrel type camera rather than the sort of action style camera design. So yeah, right, that's it. Really glad they've got this installed. It's a bit of peace of mind for my mum knowing that if something were to happen, she's got some recordings of whatever it is. She doesn't need to worry about turning it on and off. It's just always there doing its job, hidden in the background and not something that she needs to worry about. So really happy that we've done this, really glad that this is all finished, and now she can just get on and enjoy the car. Before finishing up, I'll just put some video up quickly of some video from the camera itself up quickly so you can see what it looks like. I'm not going to go into a full review of the camera itself. There's lots of other videos on the internet or on YouTube that does that, but just so that you can see the type of quality that this camera is able to deliver. We're really happy with it. It's doing exactly what we need. Hopefully we never actually need to use the footage. This is kind of like an insurance policy, just in case something does happen. You don't want anything to happen. So fingers crossed we never need to use it, but it's great to know that if we do need it, it's here doing its job. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. Please do like and subscribe if this has been useful. As I said at the beginning of the video, subscriptions for a small channel like mine are so important. So mean the world to me if you subscribe. If you have any questions, please do leave them below. I'll do my best to get back to you. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks very much.